ראיון מיוחד, ראיון ראשון עם השגריר הראשון של טנזניה בישראל, מר ג'וב מסימה. אתם מכירות את זנזיבר והקילימנג'ארו, האתרים התיירותיים של המדינה שבמזרח יבשת אפריקה, אבל ישראל וטנזניה משתפות פעולה בתחומים רבים כמו החקלאות, הרפואה ואפילו הסייבר. שלום לך, אדוני השגריר ג'וב מסימה. Good evening. Hello, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Should I call you Balosi Masima?
Yes, Balosi Masima, that is a Swahili word.
We are very...
Or could say in Hebrew, Shimi Job Masima Shagri Tanzania be Israel.
Oh, so you know Hebrew already?
That's what I can say.
We are very pleased to have you here with us today. You are the first resident ambassador of Tanzania in Israel. You came in 2017. What happened between the two countries for this to happen, for you being here?
Indeed, I was privileged to be the first resident ambassador of Tanzania here in Israel. That was in 2017, as you correctly pointed out. That before that, we had a non-resident ambassador who was based in Cairo. But following the good relation between the two countries, then we decided to have a resident ambassador here. And myself, I was really privileged and honored to be the first ambassador of Tanzania, which for me is a big of honor, and I appreciate for that. Among 55 million Tanzanians, I have been chosen to be the first ambassador. Thank you very much. Baruch atah Adonai Elohim, melech haolam, shechasham v'kayam, v'hegiam lazman hazeh. Amen. Amen.
Why did you decide to pray?
That's also the right footing. Wherever you go, you must choose your right footing, how to enter. If you choose the wrong one, it means that you have a wrong start. So for me, and being a believer, a religious one, I thought that should be the best. And I'm glad to see that a number of world leaders who have been coming here after my presentation have been reciting the same thing. We heard it recently, one of the presidents who was here, he recited the same. So I'm very happy for that one, that I did choose the right footing in getting it to Israel.
So I want to talk now about the relationship between the countries. We know that the Israelis really like to go to the Kilimanjaro, they like to go to Zanzibar and enjoy the beach. If I'm not mistaken, there are around 35,000 Israelis going and having vacation in Tanzania, which is a big number because there are 50,000 Chinese citizens. So we can see the proportion is very interesting. Is there something else that you think Israelis should discover in Tanzania and then they haven't seen yet?
No, what you could say that the number is increasing, not only 38,000. According to the figures which we got from the Israel embassy in Nairobi, the number has reached 42,000. So not 38, 42,000. When I came across one of your records, I came to realize that Tanzania is the fifth important station for Israel. One after America, Iran, and other countries. Then Tanzania is the fifth popular station for Israel to visit abroad.
How do you explain that?
There are a number of explanations. But one is that you must understand Tanzania. Tanzania is is bigger than Israel, with an area of over 945,000 square kilometers. We have dedicated around 38.12% of our land mass to protected areas. This they include 24 national parks. So it does include 44 game reserve. It does include around 28 game-controlled areas in the 2 marine parks. This is one of those which attracts people to go over there.
It's not only tourism between Israel and Tanzania. Can you tell us a little bit more about the bilateral relationship and in what field do you want to develop this relationship?
The relationship is strong in a number of sectors. First, we could come to the defense. We've got a cooperation in defense matters between Israel and Tanzania. And a year ago or two, before Lieberman resigned as defense minister, one of the trips he made was to visit Tanzania. And that's where we signed a memorandum of understanding between Tanzania and Israel regarding defense matters. That's one.
I'm sorry, I want to understand about the defense. Is Israel helping developing technology in Tanzania?
Once it comes to issues of defense, it's very hard to disclose what is it and all about. But really defense matters, we could say in a blanket that matters related with the defense, training, cooperation, information sharing, a number of issues. So generally, it's a defense matter.
Okay. And also agriculture is a very, very big field, right? You have Israeli companies.
Indeed, that's what I was about to say. Apart from defense, we're having the agriculture one. As we speak, I've got 100 students from Tanzania who are undergoing agricultural studies here in Israel. Apart from that, we are on the health sector. A number of students who are coming here for training, even patients. We are bringing in some patients here for treatment. We are also having a very good relation with Israel on matters of water-related issues, water purification and whatever. So that is another area which we are so keen in learning from Israel, and the cooperation is really high on that one. So the list is long to exhaust here, but in general, we're having a number of sectors which we are collaborating with Israel, particularly on developmental issues.
But if you have to now define 3 goals you have for the next year, what would they be?
Oh, many. But one is that apart from having this number of 42,000 tourists from Israel visiting Tanzania, I want to boost it. For now, Tanzania, if you might be aware, is ranked as second in the world behind Brazil, having many tourist attractions. But the number of tourists whom we are receiving is not that much. We are receiving around 2 million in a year, and they're bringing in around $2 billion US. This is nothing should you compare with Israel. Israel, with this, with the population of 9 million people, or with the few, I could say, few tourist attractions, the Galilee, the religious sites, and the rest, you can't compare with Tanzania. But you are having around 4.55 tourists visiting Israel, and you are bringing in a revenue of about $7 billion US. So my target is to learn something from Israel. How did you do that one? How did you make that one? So that is one of the key issues. I'm learning to know how did you make that one. So this is one of my targets, which I think I have to do. One of the strengths you are having is opening of new routes for airlines. I know that from next year we'll be flying to Japan and the rest. That's what we are doing in Tanzania. With the revamping of our airline, we are thinking of even flying here to Israel as a new route. Apart from
You're working on that?
We are working on that. We have already done that one to fly to Gwangju. We've done that one flying to Mumbai. The next target is Israel. With this number of tourists, I think we'll manage.
What is your objective? When is that going to happen?
We can start, if everything goes well, my tall order is to start in June this year.
In June?
That is my tall order, but I don't know whether we'll succeed.
It will be with an Israeli company?
I want my airline, Tanzania Airline, our airline, to fly here. So if Israeli airline is also going to reciprocate by flying to Tanzania, that will be an added advantage.
The peace plan, Trump's peace plan, can you say a word about how Tanzania is seeing the peace plan?
Yeah, I heard it recently, but really I'm praying for that to work, whatever case. So please, work on it. I don't know which formula you're going to come with it, but I'm really praying for you to make sure that the Middle East is one of the most peaceful regions in the world.
And Mr. Ambassador, one last question. We started by saying you were the first resident ambassador of Tanzania in Israel. I want to ask you, what struck you the most when you arrived in Israel?
Oh, a number of issues. One of the issues which struck me when I came here was the Yom Kippur Day.
Yom Kippur.
It was amazing for me. The whole country was almost a standstill. The roads were empty. Airports were empty. Nothing was moving apart from people cycling and walking. I think that is one of the things which I've never seen it in the world. I've traveled in a number of countries. I can't say that I've been in all countries, but I think this is unique in the world, and you better keep it.
Mr. Ambassador of Tanzania, Mr. Job Masima, thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me here.